business. I'll be what you want from me. I'll root down to a peaceful tree, one branch of forgiveness in all of the fruit, all of the fruit on you. Ooh.
everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? And welcome to the Headroom Sessions. It is the Black Femme Takeover, and I am one of those Black Femmes taking over today for you. My name is Lady Speech. My pronouns are she, her, they, and king. And we are here to talk about some pertinent things. Some very, very pertinent things. So, first and foremost, like I said, my name is Lady Speech. I'm here to introduce you to my friends, Bianca, Mikahn,
Yo.
and Assétou, Xango. We're gonna educate you today. So, ladies, femmes, theys, and theirs, introduce yourselves.
Hey. Hi, y'all. My name is Bianca Mikahn, and I'm an educator, musician, artivist, activist, mental health advocate, creator of incredible sounds, phenomenal bars, and specifically one person.
What up? What up? My name is Assétou Xango. My pronouns are they, them, hers, because Black Femme been running and owning this shit. I am a poet, activist, healer, coach, Black femme, queer, polyamorous, pansexual, all of the fluidity that is available, which is all of it. Yeah, that's me.
That's right. And I said everything they said except for what I do. I am your resident motivational dominatrix. I am your resident hood healer, and I'm your resident goddess king, your favorite auntie captain goddess speech, and we're about to get the fuck into it today. So hope you're ready. First and foremost, we tried this 2 times. 3 times is a charm. So the first 2 times we covered some very valuable information about how to be a better ally. And I would suggest you head over to the Headroom Sessions and check that out. We are going to do a little touching base on that, but we're not going to get into that as deeply as we did before. So again, that information is here for you in the Headroom Sessions.
Get it. Go get it. Go get it.
Get it. After the live.
Notes after this, yes. Because you can't pause this right now, but then you can go back, watch, take notes, do what you need to do, yell at the screen, all of those things. That's between you and God.
And I want to plug particularly my face art that day was matching with the earrings and the choker. So
and that's why I came with the Bing Bang Pooms today. I was like, now let me get a little off-shoulder number.
I couldn't bring myself to do it today, but on Monday, that shit was popping. So at the very least, make sure.
You look equally incredible in a different way. I did wonder if I should go put on a black t-shirt or something. I was like, no, I'll just do what I was feeling. It's authentic and stuff. But this is because I was ready for y'all.
Real quick, you have another person with you, Miss B. Are you comfortable with introducing that person?
I mean, doesn't matter. This is what's going down. I tried to politely talk her off. I was like, whew, don't you need space? Puzzles are great. You can go live your dreams. Bubbles are outside. I can tell where you don't want me, and that's where I'm going. Do you want to say your name? Go ahead and say your name into this thing here.
Okay. Hi. I'm Phoenix.
Yes, you are, Phoenix.
That's the one person I made. If you couldn't, cloned myself. Hey, reincarnated while I'm still living.
That's right. So, you guys, we are going to begin this conversation tonight with a conversation about Black mental health. And I think this is a really good segue. We all talked about the fact that Assétou talked to the fact that they got all in their regalia on Monday and they made themselves look good and that made them feel good. Bianca talked about the fact that they have adorned themselves today and she is feeling herself because of that. And let me tell you that the way that I feel about myself is so often connected to the way I adorn myself. So let's get into this Black mental health conversation from that very basic perspective. Let me tell you something. We are in the midst of a revolution, and this revolution is going to be French manicured. It is going to be eyelined to the gods.
Bubble bath.
We're going to be picked out, and we're going to feel good about ourselves because there's a whole lot to feel bad about ourselves about. There is. Let's talk about some Black mental health issues. How y'all doing? How is your mental health, Black people?
After what you just said, I'm doing great because adornment, and here's the thing, creativity, moving from that second chakra, which is creation, which is pleasure, which is bliss, right? And living in that has me so lit. And I realize when I'm in that mode, the word I say the most is beautiful. I'm like, boom, they're beautiful, beautiful, ooh, beautiful. And it's like that level of adornment and adoration that we so often in society have, you know, belittled and demeaned what that means to be beautiful, what that means to be in alignment with your creation and your God self and bringing that divinity into the world. So like, don't underplay that. Do whatever makes you feel adorned and beautiful in whatever way that shows up in your body and however that creation flows. I think that's really important.
So much of that, man. Like, especially because it's such an important time to be understanding how all of these internal and external systems play into each other. Right? I've been thinking so much, especially doing so much work specifically in mental health and with interacting with Western frameworks, you know, interacting with people who swear by the DSM, all respect due, you know, whichever tool that you are using to try and keep you happy, healthy, whole, and free, use that. But being in those positions of finding whichever way it is, and Speech, I have to call out a little bit, like, remember when we were first getting into some of that more, you know, the makeup adornment, right? And because I used to be a makeup artist, and it was a big thing to say, hey, like, I know these are tools that have been utilized to oppress and abuse, but we have every right to like look at the curve of this and be like, yo, that exists. And this is right here too. And like, did you know this is where the air comes through? Like, let me put something here so I can always remind myself this is where the air comes through. And that was a really beautiful way to kind of re-articulate some of the tools. And of course, those are only some of them. If I'm being honest with like my wellness, I ran into those, you know, those basic, those fuels, those sustenance. That's always one of the biggest challenges for me is like, I've been better with breath recently, the best fuel, the most accessible fuel we have at every moment. Y'all practice your breath. You got to practice it. You got to practice it. I know you think you know how to breathe. You got to practice it. Everything from that to, you know, fuel, food, checking into how much am I eating? Did I make space within the Zoom meetings for some like actual sustenance, some actual sunlight, to celebrate these vehicles, right? Because if they matter, I've been loving the connection that people are making about the matter, right? Our friend Amadeo was one of the first people who ever made that connection for me, singer-songwriter, brilliant being. And he was talking about matter. It matters. It's physical. It's going to show up in how we live.
Yeah. It's really important for the audience, outside audience, to recognize, number one, the three of us are coming from a place of oppression and privilege. Okay. So we have access, the privilege aspects comes from the fact that we have access to a lot of healing modalities that some people don't. We have access to, you know, resources that some people don't. And we are also in the same breath oppressed, just in that same space. Like coming in we are in Colorado, so we exist 3 Black femmes in a mostly predominantly white space. And we all function in industries where we don't often see a large aspect or representation of ourselves. So I think that's important to, number one, state. Number two, I want the audience to understand that this peace and love and goodness that you see is very much true. But under that is a lot of anger and rage. I know I dress it up nicely, and they do as well. And we make it look very pretty and very articulate the privilege of having the type of educations that we have had and the resources and the opportunities that we have had. But never mistake the fact that this is an oscillation going on. To get to the other aspect of the Black mental health, where we're at, I'm very rageful.
Oh.
I'm very happy and I'm very rageful. I'm so angry that it took this long for a lot of you white people to wake up and get it. I'm extremely pissed that we've been dying in front of you for so long. And it took this. I'm happy.
And what
we're
comes
at the point of
next?
revolution, but I'm mad.
What comes next? Like, I also am skeptical, and that aches the most. I was like feeling into my body about it. Yes, you too, baby. You next. She mad too. Stay back. Nah, she peaceful and joyful because she knows it's all good. She already safer than we've been. The oscillation of like wanting, not now. The oscillation of wanting to lean into the efforts, especially the more authentic ones, the more studied ones. Y'all, like the study that it takes. Our chats are public, has it? We on speaker, y'all. But that wanting to lean into that hope, and also like balancing that skepticism of just like, cool, yeah, I've seen some of y'all out at marches before too. That's dope. I mean, gosh, we are knee deep, chest deep at times in the nonprofit industrial complex, and woo! Them grad reports versus them boots on the ground versus them, photo shoots versus them who you actually serve and how, like, we know what it is. And so there's so many layers to that too, of like, that's dope. It's really hard. And really the peace has to be cultivated because of the rage. Like, I didn't go out there want to be hippy dippy trippy. I'm already a friggin' like cartoon character. So like, I wanted to be very serious. I wanted to be very like a walking shadow mystery, right? Scorpio shit. I had to go into deep joy practices, deep gratitude practices, because the only thing that can combat this amount of poison is a ton of medicine.
Well, yeah. And I think on that note, my anger has really transmuted into just pure astonishment. Like, I am writing a book called Belonging that is poems exploring all of the different ways that this body has tried to find a space of belonging on this planet. And I told a white man this, and he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, wow, you don't even know that feeling. My whole life's feeling. Cool. This is an amazing world. So I'm like honestly just astonished by a lot of what's going on. It like I used to be really angry about it, and I think that still flashes up sometimes, but it just quickly dissolves into, that's impeccable. This is amazing. I don't understand it, but look at this.
I think to contextualize a little bit this for the new white folks who are listening, I want you to understand that Black people have been on a healing journey since the moment we've encountered colonialism. We've been on a resistance journey since the moment that we have encountered colonialism. And it has been a very tiresome journey in between that. And so there's a lot of white people who are new to the game, and your anger is righteous and it has its place and a point. But it also, you're going to have to understand in your journey how angry we have been for how long. You're going to have to understand how sad and how, all the things we have been for how long. And you are also going to have to get real dedicated to liberation and the goal of liberation for all people. And I say that because you will not be liked by a lot of Black people. We have a whole process we have to go through on our own. So an ally tip that I do want to put out is do not seek salvation in Black people. Don't seek validation in Black people.
And not carry your white.
Salvation and validation in the end result, which is liberation of all people, which is the eradication of anti-Blackness, which is justice for the things that have been done to Black people and all Indigenous people. Understand, though, that we have a lot that we've been carrying, and what we don't have time to carry is your feelings about any of this.
Well,
we don't have time to carry any of your feelings, which means you have to really be dedicated to the cause. Because there might be a moment when you march right beside me and I might want to cuss you out at the same time, and you're going to hold all those spaces.
I read some quote that was like, white supremacy can't end until white people like care about it as a white issue instead of something they need to empathize with. And I was like,
if your liberation ain't bound up with mine, that's saviorism. If you're coming here to do this for me, and that's really important because I have been making myself accessible for some, what I consider to be slightly relatively risky forms of like experiencing new allyship. Because in coming to a point of complete physical burnout, spiritually, you know, lifted and there for the work and all of that, and just literally was too busy, all of those things, and started getting like migraines. I've had a couple of allies, accomplices come through with support, and what changed it for me was the notion, thank you, that they didn't feel like this is what they're doing for me out of need. It was like, yo, I have gratitude for your work. I see it. I see your work. And I have gratitude for that. And I know that it's really hard to do all of that and also get a well-rounded meal. So here's a meal, just like any other trauma or tragedy that hits a community, right? Where, you know, and there's a point, I wonder if I should dive in now or later about like where our grief can go. Because like, granted, let's say everybody's grieving, right? Let's say everybody's in some form of trauma, but not everybody's unsafe. And that's the delineation, right? Between that. If you were still wondering, bless your heart, there's so many articles. And so everybody's got some level of pain that they're carrying, confusion, those things. And it's just thinking about the ring theory of grief in terms of like who's most impacted, right? That's that target in the middle.
I'm gonna pause you right there. Ring theory. Put this in your notes. Whoever is watching, and I want you to the ring grief theory, and I want you to research that so you can have a lot more context for what she's talking about.
Yeah, and say it too, because it's just so important. And this is like comfort in, grief out is my mantra, especially in times like these with my wife.
Yeah,
it's like, I get that you need my time, and this is literally the first moment that I haven't been focused on the movement and have a moment for
and had to like stop conversations with my loved ones because it's like, yo, I'm talked out. I'm like, oh, when I said talked out, I could feel it in my body, like I'm tired. Like I've given 4 impromptu lectures last week that I didn't mean to, hour-long lectures, y'all, that I had to give because these were youth that I was stewarding. Like there's already places where we've identified, I know that my work can go here and resonate and is needed in such a way. So yeah, the person impacted the most in any particular situation, they get to be in the center of that. They are, actually, they don't get to be, they are, whether or not you traipse through the center with your own thing.
Right.
And then it kind of, you know, ebbs out. So maybe you're right next to the person in the center. You have a partner, you have a child that is still, as much as that's a visceral feeling, that's still not the center in that way. That child is the one who's getting clocked. You know, that body is the one that's in most danger. So then you need to vent out. You don't vent to your child and let them know how hard it is for you. You take that to the person who isn't carrying that. Right.
So and those are specific notes for folks who are parents of biracial children, and you are the one who carries more privilege. Those are notes for people who are interracial relationships, and you carry more privilege in that relationship. Things that Bianca just spoke about, those
could very well be notes for folks who are lighter toned.
Right.
Colorism. I know we're gonna get there. I don't want to jump ahead, but
we just got there though.
oh, did we just
I feel like that was
it's so natural. We just do things so natural. It's like we're just having a conversation.
We're so great.
Real quick, before we get into that conversation about colorism, honor, if you are a person of color, if you are Black, if you are non-Black but a person of color, honor your mental health. Yeah. Honor where you're at with this. Honor the fact that it is not just the things that that from your lifetime you are carrying. You are carrying and processing things from your ancestral lifetime. Science has proven what our ancestors spoke of thousands of years ago, which is we carry at least 8 generations in our bloodline. So the mental health of Black people right now is affected by 8 generations back. And we are affecting 8 generations forward. Okay, the Black people that you are dealing with, we're not only dealing with and processing our own trauma around racism and anti-Blackness. We're processing trauma that previous generations had, because there wasn't a lot of time or space or resources for those previous generations to deal with the extremities that we've been surviving up under. All this to say, Black mental health is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. If you're going to be an ally or an accomplice, you have to know how big this is and that we are dealing with this simultaneously with surviving it. And if you are Black, you have to give yourself grace. You have to acknowledge that this is a big thing that you are dealing with, and you are doing the best you can.
And I want to expand that out to the white people. Now, hear me out.
Do you think?
So I have seen white people in this fight, right, in the most recent movement, literally run their bodies into the ground.
Yeah,
be arrested, be pepper sprayed, be shot up, and then like, I'm gonna go back out there. And I had to stop this one individual in particular and be like, are you fighting for the movement or are you running from your pain? Right? Like, take a step back.
Ouch. Breathe on it if it aches.
This salvation in fighting in even the movement, people can get consumed with this, I'm a good white person now, so all of the shit that happened in my past doesn't matter. It's like, no, heal that. Whoa.
Or this bodily sacrifice that I'm making exempts me from doing the deep work that I need to do in regards to racism and anti-Blackness. Like, let me tell you something. If Becky is out here getting shot up the fuck up, I appreciate you, but you better be doing the work too.
It's not helpful.
Doing that inner work too.
Helpful if that's all you're doing. Exactly.
Yeah, you still got to do the training. You still got to read the books. You still got to keep your racism journal and notice what wild thoughts your brain threw at you.
Right.
And it's a commitment to the outcome, because you have to understand that Black people's freedom, we were committed to the outcome the whole time. So we did the big things and the small things to get through. Sometimes you had to pull back and preserve the body so that you can fight another day. It's the same thing. We are playing a long game. So there are going to be there are times when you are called to push the body. You're called to push the spirit. You're called to lay it all out there on the lines. But when it isn't those times, make sure that you are pacing yourself. Make sure that you are doing what you can do to throw yourself and your resources toward the struggle, but also doing the back end information too. Because let me tell you something. Many of these racist people who are in power were children of folks who fought for the struggle on both sides. So if you are only doing the performative work, if you're only doing the outside work and you're not doing the internal work, we're going to see this again in 50 years. Let me tell you something. My baby will blow this whole shit up.
This is the last round of this show. We can't say what they're going to do.
Yeah.
We can't say they're going to read some history books and there's going to be different versions now, hers and this shit. It's just going to get weird too quickly. I said no toys, but look, she ready. She like, I got tools. I got tools. But then I also want to underwrite that. Thank you so much. I'm going to underwrite that with and also during, because that's something that there's a reason why a lot of these movements were readily infiltratable. Hey there, lack of trust and restorative practices with intercommunity, because because, right? So then we didn't know who was who in all the pieces. There was the glorification, of course, of, I mean, whatever it takes to get through how much coffee, right? Activists and coffee.
No.
Activists and what Cliff Bars. Hey, my Cliff Bar people. Yeah, yeah. Right? Keep a couple of melted those in your car because you know that you're about to not plan food into your day. Just all of those pieces of like, if you're going to put your body out there, then acknowledge that and make some type of that sustainable, right? So pulling back at reasonable times to heal, because shields with cracks in them are not great shields. Not saying a person should ever have to be a shield, right? That's kind of outside the point. Point is, we shouldn't have to have the projectiles, but yeah, whole nother panel maybe.
All the things.
It's just a whole nother panel. We're talking about us right now, and hopefully we can all be us one day is my goal. But yeah, making that sustainable. Let somebody cook a meal for you. That sounds so hard to practice, but.
And you know what? I'll say this. I'm going to say this. That actually brings up something that so. One of the big moves of being an ally right now, an accomplice, is one of the biggest things that you can do is give resources and money to Black people. That's what you can do directly, not to organizations, but directly to Black people. But the flip part about that I want to talk about real quick is the fact that Black people have been so unsupported by y'all. We're going to get a little freaked out with all this support. Okay. Yeah. In the same respect that we appreciate it. And I'm going to speak from a personal perspective, and I'm watching this happen. I have developed a community, and I've been speaking a lot to the fact that in the name of reciprocity, reparations, and redistribution, y'all need to be handling and giving money back to Black, Brown, Indigenous women and Femmes. I've been on that message for a good 4 years. And even here and now with all, it is still, I acknowledge it from a place inside of me that it's my birthright to receive this type of support, but it's been hundreds of years since I've received this type of support, that watching this outpouring is a cultural shock. It is a spiritual shock. It is an emotional shock. There are days when I just receive reparations money and it'll be with these little notes of, I've been watching your work. I've been like benefiting from your work, and here's your money. So I go through a lot of things. The first thought is like, so you've been doing this for 3 years and you just now giving me money? And then the other part of like, you're giving me money and supporting me the way I need to be and should have been. And then there's the part of, I always knew I was worth this. Well, understand when we talk about Black mental health, we're going through a lot right now. And it's not just because of the oppression. It's not just because of the anti-Blackness. Even the receiving end. I've had to stop myself several times during the day and be like, oh my God, I deserve this. Oh my God, but I already worked for this. I already worked for this. My ancestors already paid into that. So this is a big thing that a lot of us are experiencing that I don't think a lot of y'all understand, and is like, you're going to see the residual parts of, you're going to see us reacting to you because of this. But this has been a huge part for me. Right. This has been a huge part for me.
And I don't know if anybody else has been feeling guilt, but that has come up for me. And I received the most loving, powerful message from a non-Black person of color. She left me this message that was like, I just watched the Nina Simone documentary and all of the things that she went through and all that she had to do. And I just feel your ancestors and all of the Black people that came before you just living through your like self-care and your care packages and your bubble baths and your like, they are just like getting all of those reparations with you. And I was like, holy shit, how did you know that was exactly what I needed to hear? It was just such a beautiful message. And it's so hard to like go all the way there, but I'm like, no, we've been working. This is what we were working for. Like, to not receive is disrespectful. You know what I mean?
You know what it makes me want to do is like, because I'm always like some type of pseudo sociologist, whatever in my head. And I like want to do some type of study to be like, wait, is this how privileged folks, how folks with access have felt? Is this how, like, I know I can definitely have mapped my privilege in a lot of ways, and will lifetime continue to do so. But just like, is this So like when y'all are really going through it and at your wit's end, then like the community believes that you deserve support, and then you like get it. Like you just get it. And what really made it so salient for me was I was writing a grant report, and I was talking with Tulua Nimiabiwole about grant reports and applications and things. And I was able to finally articulate, because I had been like having some kind of like dread and like hesitance, like a lot of us do, about grants and money and the things, right? Of just like, and while I was writing it, and I went ahead and took a mental health break, talked to myself and freestyled in my looper, because that's what I do to get through. It was like, what is this feeling? What is this feeling? I felt like somebody who, like, I wasn't supposed to have this money. I wasn't, how do I show you it wasn't a mistake? And then I was writing everything out, y'all. And I was like, I did the math on it. And was like, I've done so much work every day on this, just because that's what a calling is. And I'm sitting here feeling like a thief writing a grant report, not because of the org, but just because of the system. The org is one of the most loving and forgiving that I've seen, as much as philanthropy can be right now, right? But it was just a system of like, I felt like a thief trying to prove that I was worth it. Like, I did it, please. Is this my whole rep is on it. My whole rep is on it. Because I know folks who get entire budgets to try something. And if it doesn't work, we'll try again. I know I don't get that. I know this was the one try, and then y'all are going to carry that for the next decade. So like, of course I got to put my whole body. I'm going to breathe on it now. Thank you.
Yes.
Of course I have to put my whole body on. Of course, like, and so to see people be like, we're here now. And I'm like, yo, okay, cool. I've already held my breath so long that like my back is twisted literally. And we heal on it. But yeah, it's a shot. There's a lot going on. There's layers to this game.
To be underrepresented so thoroughly, and then to be represented
So quickly.
NASCAR. I was like, wait.
And now
But also
all of a sudden y'all are interested in what we've been doing for decades?
Themselves been going down. They're like, wait, we get less and less fans a year, you know?
Yeah.
I guess.
Speaking of, real quick, I want to make sure that we all go through and represent our payment information. So again, my Cash App is Lady Speech. My Venmo is Lady Speech Sankofa. My PayPal is Lady Speech Sankofa at gmail.com. Assétou, what's your information? Then Bianca, you next.
Preferably Venmo at Assétou Xango, Cash App Xango, AXANGO, PayPal AXANGO at outlook.com.
Boom.
Yeah. And mine is Bianca Mikahn. That's BIANCA dash. Okay, for Venmo, let me start again. At Bianca Mikahn, M as in Mary, IKAH, N as in Nancy with the number 1 at the end. And then Cash App is, the sign, the little God sign they got, right? And then my name with a 1. So just both Bianca Mikahn, Venmo has a dash.
Let's get into a little bit of this Black femme talk. Okay.
Oh,
let's get a little bit into this, because y'all need to understand that liberation across the board can be attributed to Black femmes and Black women. Okay.
Oh, breathe on it, please. Breathe on it.
Yes, tell them when, Bianca.
Because I am mixed Black. And so, like, let's be real about ancestry and lineages, because there's a lot at play. I know. Ooh, is it tight? It's okay. We're not taking anything from you.
What?
We're actually just trying to save our lives.
Yeah. Black femmes in the movement. I want to start out by saying this. When it comes to liberation movements in America, when it comes to civil rights movement, when it comes to the American Indian movement, when it comes to the Brown Beret movement, the Black Panther movement, women, indigenous women have always been at the forefront. As soon as the oppressor showed up to the shores to steal us, to buy us, to trade in our bodies, it was Black women, Black femmes, Black people. We have always been resisting and putting up that fight from the moment the fight came to us. Black femmes have never been afraid to throw our dukes up. We've never been afraid to stand in front, stand in back, stand to the side, stand wherever we are most usable and valuable to the movement, okay? In that space, Black femmes are consistently disrespected. We are consistently pushed to the side. We are consistently ignored. I want to remind you that in modern times, this translates to the Black Lives Matter movement being created by Black queer femmes, and many of you not knowing that history, that herstory, not uplifting that history and that herstory, and then using the Black Lives Matter banner to only speak to Black heterosexual people or only speak to the decks of Black heterosexual men. All right. It is extremely important that we acknowledge the intricate and the monumental effects and influence Black femmes have on liberation movements globally, but also nationally. And we also must speak to how Black femmes get so disrespected in these movements where we have so much stake.
Right. And I want to talk about why that is. So this new branding that I'm trying, I'm the dark goddess healer poet.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm trying it out. And the reason that dark goddess is so important, I feel like, and the reason why it is that Black femme, Black trans people are always at the forefront of this movement is because the more social identities that you have that are targeted, the more urgent it feels, right? So it's really important to introduce, not only is it Black, not only is it femme or women, identifying, it's trans, it's differently abled, it's, all of these things packed on top of it. That is who we find at the forefront of this movement. And for me, that is what I mean by dark goddess. I mean the yin to all of their yang. Everything that they consider bad, everything that they don't want to look at fully and see in themselves and see the mirror of how that operates in themselves, how transphobia and homophobia is really just a fear of your own fluidity and your own transition and your own fullness. I'm just saying that we are everything that they need. That is what medicine is. It's the stuff you don't want, but you absolutely need. So there's a reason that, and this Black femme is all encompassing of all that for me, and this dark goddess is all encompassing of all that. So there's a reason that we're at the forefront of that. And there is a reason that we are suddenly being recognized because we are the leaders of this entire transition into the balance.
Oh.
Or whatever,
Or whatever. Not that way. Don't you whatever after that. I understand what that is. It's like, I could be wrong, but just a thought. No, but I mean, just to underwrite it, because it's something that I felt having quite a few privileges. I was, having access to masculine environments in Boys Town, having access to and knowing how to maneuver through white spaces, all of these different things. It is it's a visceral ass feeling, and one that I've been able to A and B, as they'd say in the audio world. You can just A and B that and be like, this is what it looks like, and that's what the change was. And I'll tell you, the most terrifying change is when I had this vulnerable being right here who's forming literally changes how fast I can run. So it's a very primal feeling. It's back here of like, it's a quick measure we all do of the room. The only one of us here, and I've got extra soul weight to carry, and not having the backup of a cis het male. Different feeling in public than when I was just me riding and I thought I was just so independent and cool and like solid in my shit. And it was like, oh no, I'm existing in these really interesting, tiny, but intersecting bits of privilege, childless, and not to say because having a child is also a privilege if you want one. And hetero presenting. And those things, when I lost those things, when my life changed, then it was like, oh shit, I'm out here. I'm out here. Like people changed on the street overnight. And we're at 6:40, heads up, babies. Oh, you should definitely do that. It's about to get real in my house. And also the fact that like a panel with Bianca Mikahn very well might include watching me be a real ass human. Because that's where COVID leaves the bride, you know. Visceral feelings that you feel people assess and change around, just moving on the ground. Change. I got opportunities that just people decided they wouldn't offer me because of what my capacity seemed like. I had people that I reached out and was like, yo, because of these changes, noted changes in my life, I know what type of support I need. Can we talk about that? No, we can't. Trauma-informed care is something we should really be thinking about for our Black femmes, our Black queer femmes, trans bodies.
Yeah. It's so interesting how the mammification of the Black woman has led to y'all leaving us by ourselves. It is and you can actually look this up and Google it. Up in present day medical students who are non-Black, there was a study that was done with American present day medical students who were non-Black, and one of the prominent leftover racist thoughts from the times of eugenics and slavery that is still present today is Black people don't feel pain. This is something that you can actually Google. And this is something that several medical doctors recently and over the past few years have spoken to that is across the board in the medical industry. And for those of us who understand how oppression permeates every single part of our lives when you're Black, being a Black femme, I have experienced medical oppression and medical racism. I have been denied care. I have been, not listened to because also not only because I'm a Black femme, but also I'm fat. Even though I'm a small fat, I'm still fat. So because of that, I don't get listened to at all, or I get disrespected. It's really interesting to, I forgot the point that I was making in that, but
that is the point.
That was a really important point.
I just need to take like a whole bunch of breaths on it because it defines so much of so many of our existences and like chronic illness and pain. And y'all know I have too much to say.
And gaslighting.
Yeah.
So even though this wasn't the point that I was originally making, like, I think the point that we can that I'm going to segue into is the fact that like so much of our existence, we've been denied access to our pain. We've been denied access to our victimhood. We've been denied access to our humanity and all that space. You know, we're not allowed to acknowledge how deep the wounds go. We're not allowed to acknowledge how deeply the wounds hurt. We're not allowed to acknowledge the wounds that are still there, even though the experience has passed. And this is a thing that weighs heavy. And it also reminds me of the fact that spiritually, Black people have learned to breathe underwater. Energetically and spiritually, we have learned to breathe underwater. There was no choice but to stop breathing or die. And we have refused to die.
Stop
And
singing.
imagine what that can never stop singing, huh, baby?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine the impact, right? And what that does. I thought about it, of course, while making her, or even before, because all of my challenges, all of my pain, all of my deepest healing, if you're one of those, let's frame it in sunshine, because darkness genuinely scares me, which is a whole other thing that we're gonna have to talk about, y'all. All of that has been literally around how much I like hold, and on that spiritual level, at the very least, of how much just hold. You hold it right. I hold mine in the middle. And why I have to dedicate literally so much of my day to staying in this body. Just to being okay, to being like, nope, line that one up with this one until you know you have enough alignment to maneuver throughout your existence.
Yeah.
And also the rates, right? The rates, the COVID rates, because we all understand that immunity gets directly impacted by stress. You can't have that much cortisol. Quieter, baby. You can't have that much cortisol, adrenaline in your system for that long, especially from a masculine types. Hey, because y'all don't cry. And like, you hold it. And I have watched the men in my family and beyond, like, just keep, watch the tendons in the neck. They swallow it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just headache, migraine, pain. They just hold it. It's too much. It ruins your nerve endings. And then your immune system doesn't block anything like a brand new pathogen. Doesn't give as much, the dopamine that we get from beautiful experiences, that doesn't have as much of a chance to get through. So many levels and layers about the health, even though I know we're talking Black fam, but hey, your health directly affects our health, don't it? I don't even want to talk about it. Don't we got some questions to take?
In like 10 minutes, we got questions.
No, I want them now. No.
I need to say something.
Say it.
I have to acknowledge the lineage in this little Zoom room right here. So for me, the first thing that came to my mind when you said that speech is like my mom, like our access to our pain. My mom did not have, she had a way, way harder life than I did. But I was the one up in my room journaling out my healing. She looked at that the first time she saw that, she was like, how do you have that much time on your hands to be worried about how you feel? You know what I mean? Like,
so much, girl. I got that from my dad. Like, you know what you could do is stop thinking about it, and then we had
it will go away.
Conversation about like, please understand, I can't. Like, you literally set me up in such a position that I have all this existential awareness combined with this physical experience that is not nearly as unsafe as yours was, and still.
You got to do the work. But I have to acknowledge this lineage because, so first of all, so y'all know, Bianca Mikahn started me on poetry.
Every time you say it, my chest just be like, what do I do?
So 12 years ago, she came to my high school, first poet I ever saw, and then I was writing poetry ever since that moment. Lady Speech Sankofa has been my mentor. I didn't realize it, but clearly, very intentionally for the past decade. And so, but I have to acknowledge the space that y'all created for my body, first of all, and for my truth. But then also, and Bianca, you and I have talked specifically about the wars y'all had to fight with your entire beings. And I came in and was like, well, this is shitty.
And then you came in like, it's not even like that. And I'm like, yo, it was just fucking like that. I swear to God. Look.
Like, we just got done fighting in the back corner. Shut up.
and making it clearer, right? Like
So
clear
many
the
do.
way.
I was like, me and Speech almost ate each other alive in a beautiful apartment. I still think about that apartment.
So
babe.
I just have to honor that. Like that's just so important for me to honor because I'm younger than y'all in both the work. You know, like I'm younger in all of this and have been looking up to y'all for a decade plus.
Yeah.
And now I'm on a panel with you, which is a whole nother.
But that, like,
feeling.
oh, there's an important piece to that for me, and I believe us, in that we've seen lots of different styles of leadership. We've experienced lots of different styles of leadership. There are people that I looked up to or maybe called elder that we ain't, we do not, we keep it moving.
Wasn't guilt all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was like there was, and no judgment. The more I learned, the more I'm like, because you were doing your best. You wouldn't have caused harm if you knew, or if you were equipped. And so, like, no judgment, but we do have opportunity here. And that was always my hope and has affected my leadership style so deeply, so deeply. To be like, I don't want to eat nobody up in order to teach them. I don't think that dues have to break somebody. And so now it's really beautiful to be in like what I believe is like a co-mentorship, you know, of like whatever leadership I might still provide. But if you don't have, here's another one for a notes. If you don't have a mentor, not a mentee, but a mentor that is at least 10 years younger than you, you're doing it wrong.
Wow.
Like you're doing it wrong because now you come through and be like, nah, I'm gonna make passiving. I'm like, we were doing everything you remember the day? I was so mad at you. And it was just purely my training.
Telling them what we're talking about, though.
You got a battle ram to get through, and that's the only way. So you might be able to make a living off this. And then we got to make a living off this. And that was everything that we had ever dreamed. And we've been breathing into that dream for so long that dreaming beyond was taking a bit, you know. It was like, okay, I could use some extra fuel for my vision. You came through like, no, I want to make passive income. I don't want to break my body.
And you were like,
I
there's
didn't
no
want
way
to
to
be
do
attached to an institution. I was like, madness. Madness.
I remember that day. I remember that day. And I would not be able to dream in that way if there weren't space created for me to rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I got to respond to your dream too.
Yeah.
But
And be
that's
like,
the thing. It's a co-creation.
I got to chill on my body.
So you white people got let in, and so hit everybody cash up and hit everybody.
That was a bad blessing just now.
Y'all just got let in on a super black girl moment, and what you also got let into is the secret to our liberation and why you couldn't kill us. It is these very intricate relationships that we have formed. I want to remind you that during slavery, we were the ones who kept ourselves alive. We were the ones who liberated ourselves. Y'all assisted
Birth the
us.
babies.
Never think that Lincoln freed a motherfucking soul. Never think that any white person freed anything. There was assists by y'all, but we were always the directors. And these intimate moments, understanding that we were all we had, are the reasons why that we are free and why we are all here in these moments today, because of the sisterhoods and the siblinghoods that Black people, that Black femmes especially developed. The nature of slavery, when we really take a look at it, and I want to take this minute before these questions that start to remind y'all that slavery wasn't just cotton picking, all right? I really want you to look at how long slavery was and what it was. It was the stealing of people. It was ripping babies from mothers and then taking them directly out to use as bait for gators and alligators in some places in the South, okay? It was sex farms attached to the plantation, which means you work from sun up to sundown, and then you spend the wee hours of the night forcibly being made to rape your sister, your mother, your brother, having sex with your siblings, being made to be raped by the slave owner and all the other white people that were a part of that plantation. Slavery was fucked. It is something that we should not have survived. We should not have survived. It was amended. It was amended It was amended, never ended. And my people are from the South, and it is documented up until 1960 in Texas, there were people enslaved. That is where my people are from. So slavery was amended on the books maybe 100 years ago. And I say amended because the prison industrial complex allows for slavery to continue. It was amended on the books, but it didn't end until 1960. Officially, that is when the last of the American slaves were liberated. All right. Deep wounds that we are healing from, deep work that we are healing from. Post-traumatic slavery disorder is a real thing that both sides experience and have symptoms from. Okay. These are some tidbits. There are lots of things that we have dropped in the middle of this conversation that you can distill, that you can take points of and use them and put a pin in that and go Google parts of this. But when we talk about mental health of Black people, this is what we are up against. This is what we are healing. This is what we are dealing with. And this is also what you are dealing with, because this is in your blood as well.
Yeah,
okay?
colonization happened to everybody.
It happened to everybody.
So, and like maybe that's a whole nother talk about how whiteness, it doesn't exist, and how I've seen my own family members literally burst with an ache to reclaim their own lineages because they saw us celebrating ours and were just like, oh, what happened to our drums? Y'all got drums. You need to go find them. You have land connections. It might be further back, but
all of us are indigenous to this planet. And white people, the greatest thing that you can do for the struggle is become a white race trader, because Whitelandia doesn't exist. When you become a white race trader, you are a trader against the white race. And then you get to re-indigenize. Yeah. Once you discover and detach from whiteness, you will discover the magic of Celtic people.
Oh,
you will discover the magic of German people. You will discover the magic and the colonization of French people. You will then get to understand the stories and unhook it. You will understand yourself as a human, and then you can begin to understand how y'all colonized yourselves and how we even got here. Mm-hmm. The ultimate level white allies and accomplices you're getting to is a white race trader, where you betray the white race. Once that happens, you become indigenous to this planet. White people are indigenous to this planet too. Y'all seem to have forgotten that. And you can't remember that when white is in front of your face. But when you become human again, when you become Irish, when you become Celtic, when you become French, you can also see my Benin and Togo realness. You can see my Congolese realness. You can see my Cameroon realness. You can see my African humanity. And you'll also be able to see my Irish and Scottish humanity. You'll be able to see my Welsh humanity. And my recently found out German humanity, which I'm definitely.
How's that feel?
German curses against some of you white racist motherfuckers. Trust and believe.
Very strong. The consonants, just like the consonants are doors. Just slamming in your face.
We got about, it looks like it's 6:57. We got a couple minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. I don't know that there are any questions.
Really?
And maybe that's because you feel like you have so many that you want to take them to places where you can spend more time with them, right?
Well,
right? That's what we're
maybe
doing.
We don't have questions, but I think we've been getting paid. So great job.
Oh, did you see my, oh my, I almost clutched my fucking pearls. Like, I don't talk about this thing. It's still in my bones, y'all.
But this is the time. If y'all got questions, this is the time. So we got 30 minutes left because we will keep talking. Obviously, we enjoy each other. So if you got questions, mask on, like ask us and hook it up and tell us everything. So what's that?
Yes. I have a question for us.
Okay. Let's talk, Bianca.
It's not a good one. It's not helping our cause.
Let's do it.
Are we going from 7 or 7:30? I didn't remember.
Oh, yeah, 7:30 is.
Take a collarbone. Take it.
Love those collarbones.
Thank you, baby.
Always.
You said what? I missed the answer even.
Love those collarbones.
Oh yeah. No, but what about the tie?
I had a question. What's bringing y'all joy during this moment in these times of
Bianca's hilarious ass.
I got a question, my loves. What's bringing y'all joy?
That was my answer. Bianca's crazy. Hilarious ass.
Y'all. And I mean, we know we could go through our chat. We was just texting yesterday and this morning and the things. But I got this phrase. It's funny because I used to right? Because I still got all the tough girl inside me. So I used to be like, oh, la fana keep. And especially during really dark times, right? And it's just very warlike mentality. And now it's all joy I find I keep. And that it has been a really beautiful thing to, and honestly, because of the way that I exist in this body, it's always I'm always measuring some level of pain usually. And so looking for opposites and other things, it's okay, the pain's gonna always be there.
Yeah.
But what isn't the pain right now? And that's one of my coping mechanisms is just the, gratitude practices of okay, what isn't the pain? My house has been bringing me joy. There's been such deep healing happening here in terms of I got an incredible roommate, and just beautiful synergy and the people and the energy that's in the space right now. And we're beautifying in ways that I would sour grapes about. Be oh gosh, you need all of it to match. Yeah, you do, because your tender concept of reality means you need matching furniture. To be a rebel like me, because it's all a void, and now I'm and it's not by myself because she still does most of it, but she sets a plan and then we both fund it. And we're going to have a really cute, there's little lights in my backyard and my garden. I always make the garden, I can grow some food, but now we're growing flowers too. I'm like, can we eat that?
Hell yeah.
Turns out you can, most of them. So that really genuinely re-indigenizing my space and giving myself a lot of the beauty that for so many reasons I just felt it would be silly to even attempt to have. And now I get to have all of it, and it's really dope.
Assétou? Oh yeah, you answered that.
No, there's more.
I mean, we have a question
their
too.
Joy.
Oh, there's a question. We have a question.
Yeah, there is a question when we're ready, but you in.
Joy.
You bring me joy.
So, yeah, I think at the core of it, there's a lot of things that I'll name, but at the core of it, it's just this allowance, allowing myself to experience joy and pleasure. And I've just holed up with Black Femmes since October. I've had a Black Femme writing group every Monday. We've met every Monday. And I work exclusively with Black Femmes in my coaching business. I was just cause I fucking can. Cause of that. So all of the relationships with you two and all the relationships in my Black Femme writing group and my clients, it's just so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling and lights me up all the time. Creating. And that ties into the anger for me. I think part of the reason or part of the way that I'm able to transmute the anger so quickly is just I just write a poem. Then the poem's done, the poem spit, and then I can send the poem if people ask me stupid questions. So all bases covered, and I can let that go.
Oh my God, I miss that. Right now I'm trying to make a beat and digitally produce everything. And I'm I don't know if this is the right
work is what it is.
It's cool. And you can make the MIDI controllers just scream for you, and that's nice.
Yeah.
But you don't get to just throw art at people.
Yeah, just later. There it is. It's on a page. It's on your screen.
I need to go ahead and be look, let's just pop these off. I have been popping verses off just to be bang.
Yeah.
Bang.
And then the sun has been giving me a lot of joy.
Yes.
Bubble baths. I don't know if you saw my Instagram.
Bubble bath.
But I'm deep in these silky papaya scented bath salts. Okay. I'm deep in them. all these care packages and food and money for food. Joy is in there.
Deep
Hell
joy.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So the
What
question
about
we
you?
have is
Yeah,
from
you didn't
Iris
answer
Butler.
Steve.
No, your joy first.
We
your
are
joy
not
first,
letting this go.
and then the question.
I really want to get to the questions.
No, your joy.
It's a good one.
Oh, the behavior.
We'll have time. We'll have time.
My joy is this. I was made for this. I was conceived in chaos. I was conceived fighting for my life. So I don't know anything else. I'm actually not tired because being Black is not tiresome. White people are tiresome. Oppression is tiresome, but Blackness is not. So I'm enjoying myself.
It's really energetic. You
It's
hear an
really
A.
energizing. Racism is tiring. That's tiring, but I would say children continue to bring me joy during this time. The laughter of children. My sex toys do a lot for me right now, and I just ordered a new one that learns the pulses of my vagina when you insert it. I'll be reporting back soon.
You better let me know. My
Reporting
last
back
one
soon.
cut out in the middle. You don't
understand.
understand.
No, we don't do
We
those.
want to talk about mental health. That is fucked up.
Yeah, none of that over here. Sex toys are the way to go.
Like, I'm gonna end up on the news today.
USB
This one, somebody better get me.
Bad days.
I love those USB charged sex toys.
So it broke completely, but it's fine. I can let it go.
And then Mexican food and weed.
Mexican food, Santiago's Indian tacos.
Hell yeah, that's been the joy of my life. And honestly, my community, like I've built a really good community, and we're not perfect, but we are trying our damnedest and our hardest. And my community brings me joy. So the accomplices that I have in my life are going hard. I don't really like check none of the white people in my life because they're checking themselves.
Yeah.
They're going hard
And each other.
and they're checking each other.
And each other. Sometimes in love, and that's been really cool. Be like, whoa, y'all brought it in without a firefight. Like, we might have a world when we're done with this.
Yeah, so I'm good because I don't got no Karens on my team. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no Karens, and they're doing good. So yeah, and we're just so those are the things that are bringing me joy.
Hey, see, that ain't take nothing but a minute. 60
And it was so worth it.
so worth it because
Mhm.
Mexican food. That's just on my list of soul food. I'm just like, yeah, that's part of it.
So good. It's so good.
No approach. Right. That's
So the
my-
question that we got is from Iris Butler, and it says, "I've been feeling like I have to consistently go against my straight Black males because I am a queer Black woman. I don't want to fight them. How do I get them to realize I don't want to fight them?"
We don't know anything about that. So
I do. So, number one, if they are posing a threat to you, you have to be okay with the fact that you naturally want to fight them because you're trying to defend your life. So I don't want you to back down from that. It's okay to acknowledge the disconnect that is happening between you and some of the straight Black men you are in communion and in village with. It's okay to be like, we're not connecting. I'm going to tell you straight up, as someone who is a pansexual who's been super out for a very long time in regards to my sexuality, in regards to my spirituality, in regards to my alternative personality, it just doesn't, it's not, a lot of straight men don't accept me. And that's what it is. I don't worry about pandering to them. I don't worry about them. I don't surround myself with them. I don't hang out with them. I surround myself with straight cisgendered men, with gay men, with trans men, with non-binary people, with femmes, with Black women who see and understand me, and we don't have to fight against. I'm very clear that there are some cisgendered heterosexual Black men that I'm going to go toe-to-toe with. And I'm down to do that out of a place of love. I'm down to do that out of a place of growth. And when it is called to me, I don't take on that burden just because. I don't go against, or I don't take on that fight just because I can. When spirit leads me to speak with or to be and engage in that space with those types of individuals, I do. And usually there is some type of growth that happens for both of us. It doesn't, even if the mentality isn't changed in that space, those interactions always lead to something more. But there's plenty of love and there's plenty of Black people to fight for. And what I've learned is that when they will not make safe space for you, you make safe space for yourself. You make safe space with the people who you can be safe with. And what I've experienced in this community is it is unsafe for a lot of us queer Black women everywhere. In regards to white people, the queer scene in Colorado is super white and very unsafe for us as Black people. So you make your space and you surround yourself with your village. That's my 2 cents on that.
So much,
Yeah.
guys. Oh, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry, Owen.
My step-by-step guide to dealing with cis-het Black men who are unwilling to let go of their male privilege in the way that things have been done. Put on Apple Tree by Erykah Badu. Work at pleasing me because I can't please you, and that's why I do what I do. Do whatever you need to do to get out all of your rage, all of your hurt, all of your pain. Recognize that the relationship between Black femmes, Black queer, women identifying folks, women conditioned folks, the relationship of us to Black masculinity, that's its own healing project that's coming.
There's something so important.
But for now, work at pleasing you. Be willing to let him have his shit. Do not feel the need to carry it. Move from a place of your knowing. And what I have noticed is when I do that, they are at the rally that they said they were going to shut down, giving me the shit and backing me up.
Oh no, wait a
So
minute.
like, it'll be fine. They'll figure it out. It's okay. That's my advice.
And the ones that don't figure it out, this question, y'all know, like I have a huge stake in because I love Boys Town. I grew up in it. I have 4 brothers, 2 older, 2 younger. A good 50% of my time growing up was spent in a house that was literally all males because, you know, my dad they did custody down the middle. I was raised in a very like man up environment and it like loving. I think that's something that gives me the chance to like balance with it. Not to say everything that's been said has been balanced, like the type of balance that I find. Because there's an ache there, right? We see how patriarchy is killing our brothers. We see how toxic masculinity is killing our brothers and need healthy masculinity. Need that. I need that in my life. On a cellular level, because I have great relationships with my dad and my brothers in so many ways. Like, that's part of my chemical makeup. I need the dude to do the dude thing sometimes and the thing and just taller, whatever that might be to you, the definitions of masculinity. And so there can be like a I'm leaving them behind type feeling. Like I need you to know this because it changes the nature of home, of Thanksgiving, of and I've even recently had to do another reassessment, right? Every time we grow, then our boundaries change. And it used to be like, oh, I don't need no hugs. I'll just out cheer one of the dudes we ride and it's a workhouse, bang, bang, right? And then realize that, oh no, that was some of my kind of that style of colonization for me, that masculine colonization of like, okay, no, I totally like hugs. I do. I think I'm okay with that. Like, and so on and so forth. And so I could kind of reclaim my own femininity. That's hard to like leave them behind. And it's all of the boundaries that both Speech and Assétou named. And then also finding if you can afford those moments to humanize. I definitely have people in my family where I know the things that we can't talk about. And I still give them that space to a fair extent, depending on the day. Some days I'm like, you know what? I can hear you do everything that you need to do. I'll need to check who you call bitches and why. Some days I got that. And then some days I just absolutely, it's like, I need to pay attention to the boundaries of this relationship and maintain them for myself because I want to keep this relationship and this person is not going to keep this boundary for me. If I have deep pain about feminine issues, I'm not going to go, no, we can't talk today because I need to go to my people who can give me the medicine I need. And decide how long you want to do that for. Because there's something on the other side too. There are dudes who want to see you at your full self. There are. I think I'm, let me not. I'm like, I gotta believe. No, I feel like I really know some.
And there are.
Like no matter who I'm dating or no matter where I'm around, I see you and go Bianca.
Yeah.
So they exist.
I think a big thing of what you spoke about is holding your boundaries and also understanding what we're doing when and what's usable when. Yeah. When we're out on the battlefield, if we're all focused on the battlefield, if we have a goal that we need to get, we're all here. There's a collective suspension of certain beliefs because we want to get to here, then we are all united. But if we're not in that space, I know when and where not to fuck with certain people and to do certain things with certain people. So I know that even down to your fight. All right. So like, I know I march with certain people. I rock with certain people. I am an old school protester and I come prepared to get fucked up. So I rock with people who come prepared to get fucked up. I rock with people who come prepared to fight, who come prepared to bail people out, who come prepared to like move in the way that I move. Okay. So then we can work better as a unit. All right. I know I'm out there for all Black people. I'm representing Black trans people, Black femmes, Black women, Black men, I'm out there but I'm super aware not everybody else is. So understanding too, like, I would definitely suggest reading The Art of War. And I would definitely suggest reading Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Because there are just ways that you can engage with your people. We're all out for liberation, but we have to be very clear who you fighting with, where you moving and all that, and where you're placed inside of the battle, because that helps or can hinder. But
if you go get that deep into power, like, because that's the conversation I want us all to have. And I understand we have to have it through policy and all those different things, but like, you ain't fucking with who you want to be bigger than and why in any typical scenario. Like, you go through 48 laws of power and that makes you feel like you got a whole bunch of exciting tools as opposed to a lot of things to consider. I don't know, fam. Like, check your relationship to power right now. But yeah, like those tools you were saying, going into like when you're going out there and like how your boundaries are being maintained. Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have any other questions?
I think there was 2.
Yeah. I can't find the other one.
Uh-oh. Y'all on the...
Here's the thing too, like, make sure to kind of touch base on a little bit of like
for payment info to be said again.
Oh, okay. Payment info. My Cash App is Lady Speech. My Venmo is Lady Speech Sankofa. My PayPal is ladyspeechsankofa@gmail.com.
Venmo at Assétou-Xango. Cash App is Xango, AXANGO. My PayPal is AXANGO@outlook.com.
And my Venmo is at Bianca-Mikahn, MIKAHN1. And my Cash App is $Bianca Mikahn 1.
There's a question on Dazzle.
Okay.
Who are these artists? Are you Denver based?
What?
Let's talk about ourselves a little bit.
Who are you? Who are you guys?
This is how Denver makes ambitious, wildly creative, weird Black girls. It's a unicorn den because it's like the most refined nectar, right? It's like the water that's all the way frozen in the middle of the glacier. That's how Denver makes deeply artistic Black
That's my favorite kind of ice to eat. I look for those ones with like the hollowed out like little water in the middle. Anyway,
there's like a little pocket.
Yeah. So I say to tell them where you're from and what you all about. You from Denver? We all from Denver, but tell them a little bit about yourself. We'll go through.
Born and raised. I am a poet through and through and through, and then some. I really associate poets with my ancestry because it is the language that encompasses all. It loves dichotomy. It loves the tension, and that's where I live. So yeah, I'm a poet. I'm a poet. I'm a poet. And yeah, Denver.
Denver. And let's also after that, let's name some contact information. So what's your social medias? What's your email? How can folks get a hold of you?
Yeah, so same as my PayPal, Xango at outlook.com, AXNGO. Find me as Assétou Xango on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm the only person in the world with this name. The fake account tell me, because there's been one which makes me feel like a celebrity.
You made it. You made it.
I made it. They trying to mimic.
Copy me, bitch.
Bootleg me. Bottle it up and sell it.
And you can also find me at assetouxango.com. Really, the best place to find me is Instagram at assetouxango.
Facts. This question is going to be great, but before that, contact info and all the things. Yeah, same. My name is Weird AF. It's unique AF. Reframe that. And so I'm the only one who has it on all the medias. I am the most I'm the most communicative in on Instagram and in the stories. It's because I'm it's a moment. But I definitely have been reactivating on Facebook a bit for these times beyond what I usually do with my Mental Health Mondays. And when we get to pluggy things, because I've got some really great events coming up that I'm excited to share. But on the medias.
Hell yeah. And I am Lady Speech, so you can find me everywhere via that. There's a Lady Speech Facebook artist page that you can follow. And that's a really good one if you're looking to be a woke white person, and if you're looking to, be empowered as a Black person. I share things that are from a Black centered perspective, and also things that help, educate. So you can follow me there. Instagram, Lady Speech. You know what? You can follow me on Tumblr. I haven't really been on Tumblr since they did the whole, ban of all the sexy shit. So, but I be on there every 6 months. I check in.
Those are pretty pictures, but not what I was looking for.
Exactly. So,
we got
Tumblr, Lady Speech Sankofa. You can also email me at ladyspeechsankofa@gmail.com. I have been a artist in Colorado for over 20 years. I am a poet. I am an MC. I am a burlesque dancer. I'm a healer. I am currently on my walk to initiate into being a high priestess in the voodoo tradition. So it will be Mambo Sankofa by the end of the year. We out here in these streets doing this hood healing. I've got some workshops coming up for y'all. I've got some rituals coming up for y'all. So yeah, keep up with it. Yeah.
And Denver, right? Denver went out to scope some of the burbs for a little bit and then ran right back. Not per choice even, Definitely.
Was there another, Bianca,
there is another beautiful question. And I really love what it brings up, because there's so much of this, whenever you see activation around those essential needs, and you have those essential needs, then you oh, cool. I mean, is food coming? We gardening, we farming, because I'm hungry. And so really naming the incredible opportunities that we have to recognize how the challenges we have and that Black Lives Matter is facing, and these anti-oppression movements, oppression across the board, right? None of us is free until all of us is free. And that's what this question makes me think about. Dulcinea Carter says, I'm brown, and although our histories of our people are very different from our Black brothers and sisters, our struggles are not far off. I have so much to be grateful for the Black Lives Matter movement because of the changes it is making. And there is a lot of work to do. My question is, if I talk about how racism has affected me in my life, is this a disservice or taking away from the Black Lives Matter movement since I'm Latina?
Wow.
That is a really great question.
Important.
Super important question. And I would say this. When Black people are talking, do not center yourself. When we are talking about our specific space, if it is something that is with us, don't center yourself. But understanding that all of this is related. Okay, so we are in mutual space. When we are in space when all of us are centered, or we're in space when you are centered, those are the opportunities to speak on that. When you are invited by Black people, I know in Colorado Black people, we've got a little bit different walk than some of other Black people in that in this intimate circle, especially in the activist circle, Black and brown people have a unification thing that we've got going on. It's not perfect here, but there's we've got a bridge that is long standing in Colorado, and that has been long standing since the creation of the Black Panther movement and the Brown Beret movement. Colorado has been a hub for Black and brown activism for a long time, and we have intersected for a long time. So we speak from, and we have experience with that privilege and with that relationship. Okay, all of our struggles are different, but they're also very much united and very much intertwined. So if it is something that is centering Black people, don't center yourself. If you are invited into the circle, then share your story. When there are spaces when you are centered, or when all of us are centered, then speak to it. But don't silence your oppression. Don't feel like you have to silence yourself. Don't feel like you have to be silent about what you've gone through. Don't feel like you have to not speak to what you've gone through. Okay. We just learn when we center ourselves. So when it was time for the water protectors and they had center stage, that was not the time for Black Lives Matter to center Black Lives Matter. We did represent. There were those of us who were very clearly like, Black people are supporting this movement. And we did that in solidarity, but we did what we needed to do, which was take directions. And when our story and when our momentum helped to push that forward, you push it. We use our collective push together. So when you can use your push for us in these specific moments, you do it. So that's my space to that.
What she said.
I love that, because you went like this, and on my screen you are below speech right now.
I don't know which way everybody's pointing.
If we need any jargon stuff, then like that's actually trauma informed care 101. And I know a lot of us are talking a big game about trauma informed care, and this is a really great opportunity. Hey, there's trauma balance. So it's your chance, host. And you can check in to see how good you were based upon if people are falling apart or not. When you're trying to have these conversations, I don't think that should be your marker.
Yeah.
But exactly that, right? If somebody's like, my pain, and that was started the conversation, this particular conversation, knowing it is one of so many. If my pain started this conversation, then you doing that, then, and just kind of a way to extrapolate that out to whoever can use that information. And when your story is invited, at any time that you can bring your story back around to centering this individual or this group that we know might be at the ring of this particular issue, while we might be right here, right now on this particular issue, then then that's a really important thing. And there was another little piece to that. But if it were important, it'd still be with me.
On that part, I want to say that brings up what we talked about on Monday with the deep listening, because there's often this rush, and we see it more with white tears. We see it a lot more with white tears than Black, but there's this rush to like shift the conversation away from the difficulty, away from the pain.
We should be together. Unity.
Right. Oh no, not
what you did about it.
People, no, we need to be with all of our internal reactions. We need to be with all of our triggers, because there's information in all of it. So be careful where, like, notice where you're coming from. Is this a deflection of the pain that you might have caused being a non-Black person? Like, is this a deflection of the white supremacy and the anti-Blackness that you need to depack in your own body?
Yeah.
You know, like, is it coming from that? Is it coming from just a pure difficulty and dysregulation with pain? Like, where is it coming from? Be with that. Allow that person the space to be in their pain too and hold that tension. And before you say anything, make sure every time you hold that tension.
That moment of choice. Breath is a moment of choice. I do a ton of wonderful racial equity workshops with a group called Creative Strategies for Change. And I highly recommend them because I see that work being applied to every individual in the organization. Like, yo, if you think we're not having these deep, because it's the co-founder in ED is a white woman, Rachel Sharp, hello. And we get it. We get it. It's daily work. Hey, what about this? What about that? Did you see this? How do we rearrange in order to make sure that we're living what we say? And it's something that needs spaciousness for all the individuals involved, right? This is about that growing edge. And you're going to need to be able to keep yourself reasonably safe while you grow, or else you're not going to retain the growth. And you're not going to do it well. And if you're not doing it for you because you really believe this is growth you need to do and not a way that you could be great to them, then it's all right here. We don't have to make up tools. All of this, like we've been saying, like Black femmes, queer bodies have been studying this for our survival. There's a reason why we know.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we know. And there's a reason why we connect with each other, because it's like, oh God, you know too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Whether or not we even like each other. Me and Speech went through beef for 2 years, but it was like, we gonna come back to it because we need each other.
Yes, we do. So intertwined. And that actually came up for me with the joy question. I remember being in middle school, I had to collect my joy. If you look at any of my homework, my journals, like there's little hearts, and I would write down anything that made me smile. And I had a wall called Divine Pick-Me-Ups. And anytime I was upset, I would go find some quotes on the topic that made me feel better, print them out on a PowerPoint slide and paste it on my wall. Like, we have been scrappy for so long.
It's so hard to be here.
We have to grab at that joy.
Let us celebrate everything that came to kill me and failed. Like,
You're still Clifton.
And we still here. So I see, we had
time. So let's give them some final thoughts, y'all. Let's leave them with a little final thing. What you got?
Oh, plugs, yeah?
Yeah, a little plug and a little inspirational word. What you got?
Oh, inspirational word. Well, my inspirational words are found under Word Wednesday on my Instagram.
Hey!
So go get you some. And I also co-facilitate a space called Sensual Sundays every Sunday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, with my bestie Alondra, who is under Instagram as Island Bruja. Conversation with femmes of color, decolonizing sexuality and sensuality in bodies of color, especially femme bodies of color, and what that looks like and how we get in liberated. And if you want to see Bianca have that conversation with you, you can just look at my Instagram page. Wow, everything goes back there. And you can see that conversation from just this past Sunday.
It was a good time. I really enjoyed that. The only problem with it was too short.
Yes.
That could easily be its own. So I have a monthly open mic that is going down the third Thursday of every month. We definitely Zoom right now. We about that Zoom life. Susie Q Smith is the feature this month. Hey! My mistress from another mistress. Somebody else who has kept me alive at a time where because everybody else was like, yo, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's very feminine, very Black, and very tumultuous. And Susie's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Come get some stew.
That was a really good impression of Susie, by the way.
I love her so much. And we get mistaken for each other all the time, even though that's not okay. So yeah, she's the feature for the Cypher Viz on the 3rd Thursday of every month, including this one, whatever date that is. Shout out to calendars. And I've got a mental health Monday workshop the 4th Monday of every month. Okay. And can you come help? No, this is just life. Just move it, throw it, girl, kick it off. You did it. You're so strong. Mental Health Monday, 4th Mondays of every month. We do that about 4 o'clock. And then we're just practicing positive coping mechanisms. And check out the tunes. I'm definitely on Spotify and things, Instagram and the like. I really like my Instagram. I feel like I'm I have the ability to be the most of myself there. And y'all should check it out.
Yeah. And yeah, you can find me everywhere. Again, like I said, Instagram, Lady Speech, Facebook, Lady Speech, ladyspeech@gmail.com. I do every Monday, I do Bottom Bitch Monday readings for y'all. So if you need a tarot reading to get you through the week, I do personal tarot readings. Right now, none of it is in person, so it's all Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, all that stuff. So if you need a reading, hit me up. And really the last, my last parting words is this is lifelong work, and you have to get ready to be committed to improving your life and the life of others. Anti-racism work is lifelong work, and you need to dedicate your whole entire self to it. Liberation work is lifetime work, and you need to dedicate your whole entire self to it. This is in no way a performance. There will be levels to this shit. You will get a lot wrong, and you will get a whole lot right. It is all hard. You're going to skin your knees. You're going to skin your face. You're going to take the skin off of your back when you fall badly on your words and on your actions. It is hard, and it is fucking worth it. It is fucking worth it. It is fucking worth it. This is the work that saves lives. This is the work that saves generations. This is the work that eradicates words from kids' vocabulary, like oppression or police.
Concepts.
This shifts concepts, and it shifts societies. Never, ever doubt how important this deep work is and how important you are to it. And please remember that there is no one coming to save you. There's no one coming to save you. There's no one coming to save me. There's no one coming to save them. There's no one that's coming to save her. You are the one that we were waiting for. You. There's no leader. There's no white man. There's no president. There's no one. You are the one we were waiting for. You are the one that the ancestors were waiting for. You are the one that you were waiting for. And I am the one I was waiting for. I am the one we were waiting for. And we are the ones that are going to save ourselves. So take care of yourself. Commit to this. It's going to be hard.
Have the tools.
Fucking worth it. Gather your village and your tools around you.
You have the tools. All the tools
you need.
Already exist. It starts with that right there. Just hold it. Just every time you're like, what? Every time you get confused, just hold it for a second. What's going on? It's also good to see if you got COVID, from what I understand. If you could do box breaths. Good for so many reasons in 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got the tools. It's going to be more about your nerve endings than it ever was. About the feelings, about the side thought that you thought didn't matter because you know how to bypass it. Right. It's literally about that now. It's literally about how your toes feel when you are your most hot-headed. Can you feel your toes? Have you ever? You don't know, do you? I know. You need to figure out how your toes feel when you're most hot-headed.
Oh my gosh. Man.
That's what we need. That's what all of us need, right? In order to figure out how to truly treat each other with some type of humanity on a consistent level. Who are we at our worst? Fix that.
Right.
Start with your breath. It's a really good place to start. It's a gift.
And on both what both y'all are saying, I have a problem. I call myself an activist. I have a problem with that word.
Yeah.
Because it implies that some of us are meant to be fighting for justice. Other of us aren't.
Okay, I'm with you. Go. Keep going. It aches.
You see what I'm saying? So like, do not, it's everything y'all are saying. Do not project this work onto somebody else. They're gonna save me, this policy, this, that. No, like you are it. You are it.
Finish line. Some finish line. A book that you can read and then you'll know. No, this is a way we are going to be from now on.
Always be in
It's our new life.
Yes, your whole life. The healing work that is deeply healing and treating yourself with compassion to the point, just like we said, that you can treat other people with compassion, then we don't have to do all this. All activists also implies that I'm always going to be opposing someone, and that's like my job. No, thank you. No, thank you. The entire point of this fight is that I don't have anything to oppose. That we are all in that unity that everybody keeps talking about, but you don't get that without going through the muck. So,
yeah.
Woo. Hey, that's
one more time with these cash apps and stuff. Cash app Lady Speech, Venmo Lady Speech, Sankofa, PayPal Lady Speech, Sankofa @gmail.com.
Hey.
Oh, Assétou -Xango. Cash app Xango. PayPal Xango @outlook.com. Also, follow me on Instagram @Assétou Xango. You guessed it.
I feel like I was watching a picture book. Like it was a kid. Like each page was like another type of Xango. And of course, on Bianca Mikahn, Venmo @Bianca-Mikahn1 because they fancy, and then Cash App just Bianca Mikahn straight with the one. So Bianca Mikahn1. Same at all of the medias. And obviously, we are fucking hilarious and
we're amazing to watch.
Gorgeous, overflowing, bright lights. So keep up, right? Get on the grams. Fix your timeline. I mean, do them fights because you need to do that too, because we got to do it someday. But also get some joy. This is medicine.
That's right. And shout out to Headroom Sessions for doing exactly what you need to do with your white privilege. This is how you show up. So this is one of the ways. If you've got privilege, if you've got a platform, you use that, you move out of the way and you give it to people who can educate, who can help you, who can, you uplift melanated voices, okay? You uplift melanated voices.
Or your ideas of what it should be. Also.
Yeah. So shout out to the Headroom Sessions for making headway, for doing what you need to do. Shout out to Kuvo. Shout out to Dazzle. Shout out to all of y'all doing the work and listening. Shout out to every single one of you who got challenged today, because we know some of y'all were challenged as fuck. And shout out to all of y'all who reviewed and eased into this. And thank you to every single one of you who put some money in our Cash App.
Yeah.
And just, I want to give you this last thing. Every day, at least twice a day, you should say Black is beautiful and Black lives matter. It makes your teeth whiter.
Hey! And it pissed the racists off so bad.
It does.
I mean, that's just a little cherry on top. Petty sweet sometimes. All right. We gotta go. We can go forever. You gotta cut us off and we're not gonna stop.
We're gonna keep clowning. I guess we should say goodnight.
Good night, y'all.
No, I'm about to get this bubble bath.
Hey, I need some delicious food, and then I think I'm trying really hard to take a day off.
Hell yeah. Water and smoking a blunt.
Tomorrow is Disneyland. I'm not doing anything for anybody ever. It's gonna be
really. I'm trying.
Turn it off.
I'm doing.
Shut it down. Shut it down. There's no other way, because if you look at your phone, they're gonna ask you for something.
Yeah.
You see my lack of conviction. We'll talk about it later. Thank you for being with us. Genuinely, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And I mean, I understand why, but it's still a good choice you made, and we appreciate it. Stay with us. Yeah. Stay with us. Okay. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, I'm gonna be rocking downtown this Saturday with like Brothers of Brass and Ramakandra. I love them so much. A whole bunch of folks. Theo Wilson's gonna be there right over at Civic Center. So I'll be rocking like at 4. The movement can, right? The marathon continues and stuff.
It continues.
Get on back out there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us. Thanks for having us in your home. And
we're all at home, yeah. Like, I kind of just
want the live to cut out so we can talk.
You're like, woo! Is it? Did it?
We will keep going. So this is officially ended, and now y'all about to get some black girl shit if they don't cut us off.
I do need to eat, and I just don't want. Yeah. I think that's the okay. She said, okay.
Yes, you're good.
Oh, next panel Monday night.
Oh, yes.
Next panel Monday night. That's super important for a headroom session.